We take off in Nigeria, where the Senate has confirmed Ola Olukoyede as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The Red Chamber also confirmed the appointment of Mohammed Hamanjoda as the secretary of the Anti-Graft agency. The confirmation of both men followed their screening by the upper chamber on Wednesday afternoon, about a week after they were appointed by President Bola Tinubu. The Senate also screened and also confirmed the appointment of Halima Shehu as the Chief Executive Officer of the National Social Investment Program Agency. The President had on October 12 this year appointed Olukoyede and Hamanjoda as Chair and Secretary to the Commission. And this is happening the day after President Tinubu appointed the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Jigawa State, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, as the new chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, and Okodiri Opaduodu as the secretary of the commission. And now joining me to talk about this live is the Executive Director, Sterling Center for Law, Deji, Ajare. Good evening, Mr. Ajare.
Good evening, and thanks for having me.
Yes, fantastic. Now, Ola Olukoyede has finally been confirmed as the chairman of EFCC by the Senate, despite the opposition in some quarters against his appointment. How do you see this confirmation?
Well, the confirmation did not come to me as a surprise, really. Matter of fact is, we're being honest to ourselves, this is a government that has not really shown deep concern for public opinion, and so it was apparent to me from the moment he was nominated that he was going to be confirmed. And of course, when you also see, at least so far, the way the Senate has worked with the executive, you do not expect any sort of opposition. So yes, it did not come to me as a surprise, and however, it's a little disheartening because one would have expected some sort of interrogations into these issues, into the concerns of members of the public by the Senate. The EFCC, it's such an important institution, and the duty it performs is such that we should ordinarily not take any issues relating to the appointment of the chairman of the EFCC with levity. But then the EFCC has historically been at the center of political and public interest in Nigeria. So it's likely that, yes, there will be contentions, there will be significant public attention and scrutiny. But one would have expected the Senate to take cue from the members, from the complaints by members of the public, and do some interrogation into those concerns. But they didn't.
Okay. Now, Deji, let's look at the future for Mr. Olukoyede. He's been confirmed, fine and good. What do you think are the tasks before him as he settles in office as the chairman of the commission?
Well, to be very honest, the new chairman of the commission is inheriting in an institution with a damaged reputation. And so I think one of the first things that he needs to do is to regain public confidence by through openness, and it must ensure that it allows for feedback that will help it to continuously improve. And most importantly, the chairman must try to ensure that there's zero tolerance for internal corruption, because why the EFCC's corruption is very disheartening and why it is a very major issue for most people is this is an institution that is set up to tackle and combat corruption. But then you now find corruption as a major issue within that institution itself. So it must institute stringent internal controls and periodic audits to prevent and detect internal malfeasance. Okay. And of course, apart from that, he must now proceed to go ahead and strengthen institutional capacity for the EFCC. You will recall at the beginning, the EFCC was regarded as a very fearsome institution because of the personality of the chairman then, in the person of Nuhu Ribadu. But thereafter, it appears like the EFCC has just basically become like some sort of plaything in the hands of those who hold the office. And so it's important that there's institutional capacity building, and it must be at the core of the agenda of the new chairman.
Okay, Mr. Ajare, let's look at corruption. You mentioned corruption. Let's take a look at the ICPC for a moment. Now, Olukoyede's confirmation is happening the day after the president, Bola Tinubu, appointed Dr. Musa Aliyu as the chairman of the ICPC. Now, till his appointment, he was Attorney General in Jigawa State. How do you think Aliyu's appointment will impact the ICPC?
Well, to be very honest, there is no magic wand. There's no way to say specifically that how he will perform as chairman of ICPC. But I think Dr. Aliyu, and he's someone I know, I think he possesses the right temperament, the right attitude, the right body language, the right sense of urgency to get things done. And I think with that, he may bring in some fresh ideas, inject fresh energy into the EFCC. There has been a lot of lethargy in the ICPC, rather, in quite a number of several for some years now. And so one expects that with his energy, with his passion, I know him quite well to be a very passionate person about getting things done right too. And so one expects that he's going to bring in energy, fresh ideas, and this hopefully will help improve on the work of the ICPC, which for some years has been.
All right, thank you so much for your insight this evening, Mr. Deji Ajare, the Executive Director, Sterling Center for Law. Thank you.
Very unlucky.